This episode is proudly brought to you by Soultaker Fightwear, official partners of the Jiu Jitsu podcast. From premium fightwear to fully customized gis, Soultaker helps athletes and academies create kit they're proud to wear. I love my own custom Jiu Jitsu podcast gi. Ready to design yours? Get in touch with Soultaker Fightwear today. You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I know you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe you're still chasing your world title. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you have the time, do it anyway. I'd like to welcome Elisabeth Clay to my podcast. Hi, Elisabeth.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
You are very welcome. I don't know where to start because I am so much fangirling because when I first saw your Instagram account was when I was a very baby white belt back in 22, 23. And I have just been in awe of your whole journey, which we will hear a bit more about. But I want to first of all mention about the kind of comment for the intro. When you have the time, do it anyway. Talk to me about your journey and why that, resonates so much in your life.
Yeah, so something that I've gotten asked a lot over my career, over the time, is people being like, oh, it takes this long to do something, or it takes X amount of time to do it. Like, how do you even get started? And something that I've always said, and I even apply this to my matches and stuff like that, the time is passing regardless. But if you get started now, you're going to look back in 5 years, you're going to be so far ahead versus if you never started, you're going to look back in 5 years and be like, man, if I started then. And when you look back, the time already passed. So whether you did the work or not really isn't going to make a difference except for future you. For future you, it makes a really big difference. And I feel like you can even apply that in your matches. Have a match, you're miserable, man, there's 10 minutes, I'm getting smashed. Well, you either give up now and it's easy in that time, and you're going to look back for years and hate and be so upset you didn't try more, or just try more right there. And then when it's done, it's done.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I have a slightly skewed perspective on that. For me, as a blue belt now, if I have a 6-minute match, that's a very, very, very long time ago for you. But I go, it's 6 minutes. It'll be over in 6 minutes. Or if I'm, working towards a big project or something, it'll be done by this amount of time. So I'm always looking towards the deadline. But actually, your mindset is about making use of that time because the time is passing anyway, which is great.
Exactly. Talking
about blue belt era, do you remember your blue belt years?
Oh, I do. It's a little bit ago now, not thinking about it. Blue belt was honestly, other than being a black belt, I think blue belt was my favorite belt.
Okay, you need to tell us why, because some of us are finding it really difficult.
For me, blue belt was at that point that enough that you can kind of have fun with it, but also the expectations on you aren't the same as when you're brown belt, even a purple belt. Purple belt was the worst for me. I hated purple belt. But blue belt was just enough that I could have fun with it. I could beat some people up, but the expectations weren't crazy on me yet.
Yeah. Do you think, as the expectations weren't on you, did you ever put expectations on yourself and your own performance?
Always. But I think that's just kind of my personality, because I've always, people, but the expectation, don't worry about the expectations. I'm like, it's not other people's expectations. That's mine. I have the expectations on myself for me to do certain things or perform a certain way or anything. But it's been like that, not even just in jiu-jitsu, even in school and stuff like that as a kid.
Yeah. Is there anything that stands out for you where you did achieve your expectation, whether in school or in jiu-jitsu, until a certain level?
Yeah. We'll talk about blue belt because that's where it was. I think the ADCC Trials is probably that big one. That's still probably one of my favorite stories, that if people knew everything that was going on behind the scenes, being able to come through and actually win the trials was wild for me. There's so much that went into it behind the scenes that nobody really knew.
Can you share any of those things?
Okay, so going to be a little bit of a long story. So we'll start. When I won the trials, I was at my second gym, but to actually get everything that goes into it, we have to go back to my first gym when I was around like 15, 16. I was told by one of my coaches, they're actually by both of the coaches that were running there, that there was no point in me even attempting to compete at the trials until I was at least 19 and a purple belt, because not only would I lose, I was just going to get injured. And fast forward to less than 8 months of being at my second school under Jordan Contra. I signed up for the plus 60 kilos because I hated cutting weight. I didn't want to cut weight. And I think I was like, I don't know, I was probably like 145 pounds. Walking around in 60 kilos is 132. So it's a little bit of a chunk to cut, but not that bad. And I remember I signed up for the plus and I get a call and he's like, are you sure that's where you want to sign up? I think you should move down. And this is in like December.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move down, I'll cut down. And start going, and I'm cutting down. And the month before I go to compete pans, and I was like 134. So I was doing fantastic on weight. And then I remember for some reason, I think how it is when you've been cutting weight for so long, especially being a girl, sometimes your body just says no. And nothing changed. Like I was weighing everything. Everything was meticulous. I know nothing changed. And all of a sudden I just started putting on weight and putting on weight and putting on weight and nothing. I was exercising even the same amount. I had even added an extra cardio. I wasn't eating anymore. In fact, I'd cut it down because like it wasn't work. And not only was not working, like I was gaining weight without anything changing. And then when we left for trials, I was 143.
Wow.
I went from 134 without changing anything because my body just was done. Like I'd lost my period, everything. And my body was just done. So we get down there. I was able to get down to like within just a couple days of basically just not eating, but eating here and there, very, very small amount. I was able to get down to, I think I was like 135, 136, 137, something around there. This was like 10 years ago. So a little blurry. And I ended up like getting down that low and I was like, okay, it's just another couple pounds in the bath. Couple pounds in the bath is easy. It's not when your body's that depleted. So I went, in my mind, I did 3 baths to cut weight, but I passed out in the last one.
Wow.
And I remember like clipping in and out and in and out and in and out. Come to find out, months later, I didn't find out there were 4 baths that I did. I completely lost one of them.
Wow.
So I think some of the like clipping in and out was actually the 2 last baths and not 1 bath, which is what I thought. So, and this was months later, because I was talking about me cutting weight and I did the 3 baths and it was so hard. My body wasn't losing anything. I did one of the baths and I literally only lost 2 ounces. And Jordan, my professor, looked at me and he goes, you did 4 baths. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you did 4 baths. You didn't do 3. So I was like, I don't remember that, completely lost it. And there was even while I was cutting, there was a little bit of a fight because one of my teammates was like, no, she's done. She can't do it. And my professor, she's like, she's done everything already. She literally just has to lay there. She just has to lay there. Don't ruin this. She's already put everything in. If you had said this an hour ago, fine. She's already done everything. Let her lay there, because I was bundled up. He's like, let her lay there. Stop giving her ice chips. You're giving her too much. You're making her work harder. So I'm there like bundled up and there's basically a fight going on. And this is the day before I remember went to sleep and I woke up. And this is one thing that I've been very lucky. I always recovered very well, even without taking anything in. And I also think being 16 helps. But I remember like I woke up and my professor went to come in the room and I'm like up on my feet, chipper, like bouncing around a little bit. Still haven't had anything to eat, any water, anything. And they're like, okay, good. We're good. Like you look good, look decent. And luckily with ADCC Trials, you have a little bit in between with weighing in. And these are same day weigh-ins when I was competing. So go weigh in. I wasn't supposed to be one of the first ones weighing in, but luckily they let me be one of the first ones weighing in, go weigh in, go eat. And going into the trials, my whole goal was literally just the podium, especially keeping in mind, like I'd been told less than a year prior that it was just a waste of time for me to even go. So my whole goal going into this, even through everything else, I was like, if I'm lucky, I'll podium. And I'm I'm a 16-year-old at ADCC Trials, especially at this time. Like,
Yeah.
that was a big enough thing in and of itself. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go. I'll do the trials. We're good. And I remember going out there and you have a couple matches. And I remember in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm in the quarters. That's great. And then I remember going and walking back out there and being like, hey, I'm in the semis. And then in the semis, I almost lost. So I remember being in it. She's quasi on my back, like off to the side with the choke locked in. And I literally remember in my head being like, I did not just starve for the last couple months, literally starve for the last few days, like literally starve. Like I was eating eggs, like a egg, literally starve, and then almost die in the bath last night cutting. Keeping in mind at this point, I had no idea that I'd actually fully passed out and lost one of the baths. I was like, I'm not losing this, and somehow was able to like get out. We went into points, score. Thank God we weren't in the points yet when I was in the bad spot, so I wasn't actually behind on the scoreboard. Yeah. And then I was like, I won that, and I was like, oh, I'm in the finals. I was like, my whole goal was literally just the podium, and I'm in the finals. I was like, I think I can actually win this. Wow. And then went out, and the finals actually ended up being a better match for me than even the semis was. And going and being like, wow, I won this. And there's, I think, even 10 years later, I don't think everybody knows like what all went into this. Like I always talk about, like, oh, it's a big win. Oh, I cut a lot of weight. But I don't think anyone actually knows. Like I've gone into detail of like, man, starved for a couple months. People cut weight. You have that starved. Like it wasn't great, but I was eating, but then put on the weight, went back, actually was starving, cut a bunch of weight, completely passed out and didn't even know it. And then was able to actually go through and win the trials when my whole goal was literally just the podium.
Thank you for sharing that. What was the intent? What drove you to just keep going? Obviously that switch at semis, and then knowing that you're in the final, and then actually going, I could win this. Was there something that kind of triggered that re-energized kind of state to keep going?
My goal was really to do as well as I could, but in my mind, winning was just out of the question. It wasn't that I was like, oh, I'm just going to give up if I get there. It just was too far for me to even grasp it.
Yeah.
Especially like being told, like at my first gym, like being told there's no way that you're even. Yeah. I was literally told I would show up, I would get injured, and that was it. Like it wasn't even oh, you could win a match. Oh, maybe you like have a good I wasn't even told I could lose and have a good performance.
Yeah.
Like I was just going to get injured and hurt, and it was a waste of time and money. And so I think like going from being told that, I was like, okay, like my goal, if I'm lucky, if I perform really, really well, I can podium. And then I remember just walking back and being like, oh, I made it another match. Oh, I made it another match. Oh, I made it another match. And then like stopping and being like, oh, I'm on the podium already.
Do you remember what it felt like being on that podium after that whole journey?
It felt just accomplishment because there was so much that gone into it, and I was so excited to be able to qualify for ADCC. So the end of the story isn't that happy. I won the trials, and then I injured my knee. My knee was already messed up in the match, but it was like an old injury. It wasn't a big deal, like a little tweak here and there. And then ended up not being great. I got hurt like 3-4 weeks before ADCC to the point I wasn't able to go. Like I was walking, my knee was popping out of place. And that one was hard for me because it wasn't just a training accident. It was a guy having too big of an ego. And that's literally what took me out.
That's really tough.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a massive disappointment, especially when it's not even your energy and something you can kind of protect in that space as well.
It was heartbreaking because I was like 2-3 weeks out. I was doing really good. My knee got crossed up over my leg and I got pushed back and my knee popped. It was hurt, but I was okay. And then I was still going to train that night. And I remember telling people like, hey, I just popped my knee. Like, let's be careful. I just popped my knee. And everybody knew. Everybody I'm in a small gym up in Alaska. Everybody knows if I'm hurt. Everybody knows how it's going because it's a huge deal. It's not like I'm at a big school where there's like 10 athletes going to ADCC and it's not as big of a deal. It's a huge deal. So everybody knows how it's going. Everybody I'm training with knows how my body's doing. How they know more about it than basically everybody else. And literally going there, and I don't know if you know, but when you have ashi hooked under, you have the e-break when you literally just grab the heel and rip it. One of the guys that I was training with did that because he was mad that he was in a heel hook. It was literally a straight ego thing, and ended up like, I don't want to say like got over it, but later on down the road, like he'd apologized about it for years that his ego got a hold of him. But that's kind of like a big thing that I'm sorry doesn't just fix. Like that's an ADCC. I would have been 17 going and competing.
Wow.
Heavy.
Yeah,
but if it didn't happen, who knows where I would be today. So it is what it is.
And time has been passing, and you've just done incredible things since then. Thank you so much for sharing that kind of blue belt journey. And I think there are so many young women, particularly, that have great aspirations for their jiu-jitsu journey. Is there anything that you can share that might inspire them, keep them going, allow them to believe in themselves the way that you have?
You can look at other people as inspiration, but I think a lot of people compare, and not in a good way. Like, looking at something as, oh, I can do this because so-and-so did that. That's great. But I think a lot of people compare, and you get in this like rush. And I'm 100% guilty of it with other things. I think everyone is. It's human nature to compare, but it can be very detrimental when you start doing that and being like, oh, I'm running out of time. Oh, well, so-and-so did this at this age. Like, why am I even trying? If you want to look at someone else's inspiration, that's amazing. Have that be inspiration. But we shouldn't be comparing. Everybody's life is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody, like, it's not it's not an excuse. It's just the truth.
Yeah. So it sounds like actually we've just got to find it within ourselves and do what we need to do for our own journey, rather than necessarily reflecting. But like you're saying, you know, human nature, we want to be inspired to be like, you know, other people, or at least work towards those goals, because if someone's done it before, then there's that mindset of, well, I can do it too, so I'm going to have a go. Is there we at the beginning of the episode, I mentioned about chasing world titles. This is something that's still very much in your focus. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, that world title at black belt in the gi has eluded me. So been in the finals 3 times now. But and every single time it's been a super, super, super close loss. Ref's decision, one advantage. The ref's taking away my advantage and giving me a penalty when I had a grip still. But I'm only 26. I'm still 26. We have some people that are, you know, winning it at 20, and that would have been amazing, but I still have time. So it's just that thing that get back in the gym, and we're still going after it. That's really my big focus, is worlds. I have everything else. I have pans in the gi. I have Brazilian nationals. I have a ton of medals from worlds, but not a gold. I have, you know, 6 no-gi world titles. I have 6 no-gi pan titles. Like, gi worlds is really the big one that I still need.
I love the fact that you return again and again, and your graciousness and your kind of want to get after the world title is still there. You've not lost that vision, which I think is just quite heartwarming, that, you know, if you don't get it first time or the second time or the third time, we just got to keep going because there is still time.
Yeah, and even honestly, even if I'd won them, I really don't think it would have changed. I think I would still be going there year after year. And even my husband was saying that. He's like, yeah, like, you're still chasing the world title. Wouldn't you still be doing the same thing even if you'd won all of those? Yeah. He's like, you know how you are. He's like, that this isn't like, what are you going to do? You're going to all of a sudden not go and compete worlds? He's like, you have 6 no-gi world titles and you're still going back and doing it. What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But it would still be nice to have those already. He's like, yeah, but it's not going to change anything. He goes, your day-to-day would still be the same. You would still be going and competing worlds. You would still be going and competing everything else you are. Just calm down.
I love it. The people around us always have such wise words for us. If only they could always come from ourselves.
Yeah.
Community Spotlight on Kings. Founded in 2011, Kings has grown from its beginning in Canada into a global Brazilian jiu-jitsu brand. with its gis and apparel now worn by athletes and practitioners around the world. Still independently owned and built by people with decades of experience on the mats, Kings has become a recognised name at every level of the sport, from someone choosing their first gi to athletes competing on the world stage. To discover Kings wherever you are in the world, visit kings.com and choose your region. This is the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. Keep checking out the clips that drop as soon as I've recorded an episode, usually way before the episode goes live. And as always, go and subscribe, like, and follow on every podcast platform, as well as on YouTube. Today, I'm having a conversation with Elisabeth Clay. Elisabeth, thank you so much for sharing that and your continued dedication for world titles. Let's talk about family and being a mum and being in the jiu-jitsu community. How
Oh.
I have it's a big one, isn't it? But I mean, I'm not sure where we start. But you've got your partner Adinolo and your son. It sounds like both of them are a renewed source of energy for you.
Yeah, they are. It's really nice, like especially as a color belt, I would go to competitions and kind of be alone. It's always so nice. Like it's busy, don't get me wrong. You're a mom, you know how it is. Kids are crazy. But it's so like life is more full with having it. It's a lot to juggle, but it's definitely worth juggling it.
I'm just kind of amusing myself because time would pass anyway. You might as well just be busy with all the things.
Yeah, with all
rather
the
than one
things.
thing.
Especially when, I wake up to him dipping my phone in my lotion that I didn't know he had.
I saw that earlier, and anyone in the UK, you may have Sudocreme, which is a very thick cream, and often it's near a cot or a bed if you've got young ones. And I remember probably both of my children having their hands in. Thankfully, none of my electronic devices were anywhere close, but it's just a nightmare.
Yeah,
Children and, lotions, it's not good.
all over him, all over our carpet. My phone, literally like in my speakers. I had to go in and like dig it out with tweezers. My phone was on my bedside table and the lotion was on the opposite side on my husband's. It's not even supposed to be by the bedside table. It's there because he put it there. My toddler went and grabbed it and put it there like days ago and hid it. I'm like, that's been working on this for a while. I wake up and he's covered all over his face, his stomach, and I look, it's all beside me on the bed, and my phone's covered in it. I'm like, that's lovely wake up.
And he's still quite young, so you've got a number of years of, these types of things happening, maybe, Elisabeth.
Oh, definitely. He's not even 2 yet. He turns 2 next month, and he's anybody that asks, I'm like, he's a psycho, and he's a menace. He's adorable, and he's a good kid. But he's a psycho. Like he's not the little angel. You guys think he's this nice little angel. He's a good kid, but he's still a psycho.
Oh my goodness. You do have many years to come, but I also see that as a training partner, you were able to take him down and not pull guard.
Yeah, I can take him down whenever I want, however I want too. It's great. And he thinks it's funny.
Until the point that he can take you down, Elisabeth. We're counting down the years.
Yeah, but I'm going to take advantage of it while I still can. And I have video evidence, which is better. I've at least got a couple more years.
My eldest is 15, and I honestly feel like maybe I've only got a year left to my advantage, but we'll see.
Yeah, he might be a guard puller though. He's already butt scooted some kids into the corner because they don't know what he's doing.
Good. It's all learning from the expert. So he comes along to all the competitions with you.
Yeah.
How does that kind of play out? What does a day in the life of competition look like for you?
So it depends on who's there. So like Worlds was different than Brazilian Nationals because Worlds we had an entire team with us. So I get lucky that, don't get me wrong, he's still crazy. If you watch Full Grappling did a video of following me around at Worlds. you see him like pushing the stroller around like a crazy dude and almost hitting people, and I have to grab it. So he's still crazy, but I'm so lucky. Like, we have a good team and our team was there, that before checking into the bullpen, I was able to pass him off and basically just focus on me and my husband competing, which was amazing. But Brazilian Nationals was different because it was just me and my husband there. We ended up having a friend that was there that we didn't know was going to be there. So for some of the matches, we could pass him off. But it's just busy, and it all depends on what mood he gets in. And he always decides, he's always sick right before I compete for some reason. He gets like a little sniffle or cold or something. But it's just more like when you don't have a kid or a toddler, or you're leaving them at home or with someone, you just get to go nice, focus on competing. When I wake up, even if I can't eat, I got to make him food before competing. We go to the competition. If you've ever seen him at a competition, since he can walk, he's everywhere, and he's so fast. I swear, he didn't learn to walk. He just learned to run. He will sprint from side to side to side to side, and if he can get on, and he'll try to get on the mat too. Thank God there's the barriers, but he'll try to sprint, and he's so fast. But I'm basically just chasing him the entire competition until it's my time to check in and actually fight.
How do you shift your mindset? So any parents out there that are dealing with children at competitions, and they're not competing, but you are, how do you kind of compartmentalize your own kind of progress and performance and preparation ready for competition?
I think it's gotten a lot easier as he's gotten a little bit bigger. It was significantly harder when he was smaller. Like, I would still be on the mat and kind of be thinking about him. But luckily now that he's a little bit older, and it also helps like when you have people there that you can trust to hand him off to. I know that competition day is never going to be just about competition because he's there. But once I check into the bullpen, I try. It doesn't always work. I've seen countless pictures and videos. He's in the bullpen with me. But I try to, at least to a certain point, like, hand him off, either if my husband's not competing, to my husband, or if we have a friend or someone there, kind of pass him off. If I can. Sometimes I'm not always that lucky. Sometimes it's literally me and my husband passing him back and forth. Like, I'll be holding him. I have to tell the person they got to wait, which even happened at Brazilian Nationals. I had to tell my ring coordinator, like, I'm waiting on my husband. I can't go. Can you push another match? And obviously, like, have to ask and make sure, because it's not their job to, but thankfully they're usually pretty nice about it. And my husband will come, and I literally hand him our son, and then I walk to go compete. And luckily I'm able to kind of like flip that switch pretty fast and just be able to focus on the match. Like, literally just that little walk, hand him off, I can usually like dial in pretty fast.
Good.
But it's definitely that, like, you just split, but usually I try when I hand him off, I'm just competing. Even if it's only those like 2-3 minutes that I have before I step on the mat, I have that like 2-3 minutes to kind of like focus and then step out there.
I think that's quite a skill of a parent, to be able to quickly shift from one thing to another. I think if we weren't able to adapt so quickly, and I do think we have learned a skill to be able to adapt quickly. Was there ever a time before having Dinalo that you were able to kind of adapt so quickly in those situations? Maybe not just in your jiu-jitsu world.
I mean, I think like switching back and forth between like me and my husband, because we're both high level athletes, switching back and forth between like I'm watching him and like like if the match goes well, being super happy for him, or if it doesn't, being sad, and then having to be like, we're done with however that is, and like push it to the side, and then just move on to what I have. So having that for a long time, being able to kind of switch back and forth with that, it's different, but I would say it's a similar thing. Like, you're cutting something off and pushing it to the side and moving on to what you have to do.
Yeah, I think it's all has been very good practice, and you're continuing that great practice, and something for any of us to be aware of when we're building up to a match. We don't have that generosity of time to be able to always focus and dedicate to that one thing for a long period of time, but equally knowing that time passes, you just have to get to it and get on with it and do it anyway.
Exactly. I mean, it was super nice when I was younger and could like just focus on the one thing, but it's so much, life is so much fuller now than it was then.
That's good. Let's talk about your pregnancy and training, and then we'll kind of get on to the recovery and how your physical being feels quite different now.
Yeah. So, I don't know if people know or not. I think some people kind of think it was like a whoopsie. But me and my husband had actually like our son was not only planned, but we'd been trying. It took like 2 or 3 years for me to get pregnant. I just wasn't happening. And ended up right before I had a super fight. I found out the week before that I was pregnant, and I remember like just feeling. Usually, I only have to cut about like 5 pounds, if that.
Yeah.
And so I won't even like check my weight because it's day before weigh-ins. I cut that in a week. And you also don't want to be too light going in for something like that because some people cut a significant amount and then you end up being way too light.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, whatever. And then for some reason the week before I was like, man, like I feel a little fluffy. Like I don't know what it is. Not like huge, but I feel a little fluffy. And so I step on the scale and I'm 5 pounds heavier than I usually am. So I'm now 10
Yeah.
pounds over the weight. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Like I'm never this heavy no matter what I'm eating. Like my heaviest is 5 pounds over my normal weight.
Yeah.
Like no matter what it is. So I was like, there's something off. And for some reason, I was like, I should take a pregnancy test. And this is super early. Like I haven't even missed my period yet.
Yeah.
And we're midday and everything. Like there's no way, even though I was pregnant, that it should have like popped up positive.
Yeah.
And I remember my husband was taking a nap in between classes and I was supposed to be sleeping too. And I like got up to go to the bathroom and I was like, just take a pregnancy test. Like we've been trying for so long. So I have like the giant bag of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to take one. Took it, set it off to the side, didn't even think anything of it. I pick it up to go throw it out because like we've been trying for 2 or 3 years. It's going to be negative. I just took it for like peace of mind to know that I'm not pregnant and that for some reason I just got fat overnight, right? And I go to pick it up and literally I threw it in the trash and for some reason I look over and I'm like, that doesn't look the same. So I pick it up and there's the faintest little line on it. And I like so excited and you have this huge idea that you're going to make this like cute, tell your husband that not when you've been trying for 2 or 3 years, you're too excited.
Yeah.
So go. And I'm like waking him up and telling him that there's 2 lines. And he's like, but it's barely there. Are you sure you're pregnant? To like such a guy, I still get on him to this day. I'm like, we tried for like 2 or 3 years. And your response is like, yeah, there's 2 lines, but that one's not really there. I'm like, it doesn't matter. 2 lines is 2 lines.
Yeah.
It's not an evap line. Like that's a line. And he's like, I don't know about that. It's barely there. He goes, I don't think it means you're pregnant. You're not pregnant. I also think there's some like, he couldn't believe it because we've been trying for so long.
Yeah.
And then went and I took, I don't even know how many more I took and kept being like, and look at this. And look, it didn't help. I woke him up out of like a dead sleep, like a dead, like if he snored, he would have been snoring sleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at this. And he can barely see without his glasses and he's like pulling it away. And so many tests, digital tests, everything. And he's like, okay, you're pregnant. And I'm very lucky in the fact that like we always had conversations around it. Like before we started trying, hey, I'm still going to train. If it's super early on and I can still do it, like I'm probably still going to compete unless there's something. And so I'm a week out, I'm 10 pounds heavy and I just found out I'm pregnant. I'm like, I'm a week out. Like this isn't like a month before where it's okay for me to pull out, especially I'm not going to tell people. That's going to look so bad for me. Unfortunately, it's a fact of the sport. Like if I pull out a week before, regardless of the reasoning, unless I literally broke my arm and I'm going to get surgery, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that would affect my career. And I also knew, like, even though it wouldn't affect my ability to teach even like seminars, I knew they weren't going to sell as well. So I already knew in my head I wasn't going to tell anyone for a while. And I wasn't going to even tell like people at the gym because I didn't want to deal with like arguing with people and everything. I'd been training long enough, a professional. And I was like, okay, so we got to lose the 10 pounds in a week. And in my head, I was like, I just have to pretend I'm not pregnant right now because I can't think about this and worry about cutting 10 pounds when I know that's not the best idea when I'm pregnant. And I was like, you know what? If it's meant to stick, it'll stick. And went through, was able to like diet down, and ended up having to even cut a little bit in the back. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And ended up going and like winning the match. And the whole time I was like, everybody's going to know I'm pregnant because we're warming up. And I kept having to go pee. And I kept having to go pee. And we were in a shared room. So everybody can see that I'm going to the bathroom. And this is more than like nervous pees. Like this isn't them seeing it's a very obvious you're pregnant thing. And I was like, everybody's going to know I'm pregnant. Everybody's going to know. And like, so I don't even know how. I probably went pee 30 times. And the time I'm waiting, like I would literally go pee, come back and be like, oh my God, I have to pee again. And I'm like, you have to wait a little bit. You have to wait a little bit. You have to wait a little bit. If I go pee right now, like this is insane. And ended up going out and like being able to win the match by a submission and being good. But I remember being like, everybody knows. Going, and I remember like got back. I was very luckily I hadn't gotten any morning sickness, so I was still like showing up in training. And this is before we had one of the guys, Josh Cisneros, was training for ADCC, and it was still a ways away, but we already started kind of training for it. And I remember being like, oh my God, I'm training for it. Like, this is the worst timing. There's a training, like we're training for ADCC, which is such a rough style. I'm pregnant. Nobody can know I'm pregnant. So I've got to make like all the adjustments without anybody knowing because I'm not going to be a knucklehead. Like I'm well aware. Luckily early on, like baby sits super low. So I was like, hey, I just have to make sure I don't get like kneed straight up the middle and we're good. Which again, if we were training in the gi, great. That's not really something I have to worry about. But we're training no-gi for ADCC, which is a different style. And luckily, like after a couple weeks, and I was like nervously taking pregnancy tests, so I was like, okay, I feel more comfortable. But it's that very like early on, I think, especially because we've been trying for so long, just super, super nervous.
Let me ask, did anyone actually know or suspect that you were pregnant?
No, nobody knew. And that's why it was hilarious because I had one of the guys, when I told people I was already 17 weeks. And the only reason I announced was because I'd signed up for PANS. And then I had signed up for PANS, which very ambitious looking back at it. But I was still training really well. Like I was still training at the same level. Nobody expected anything because everybody was still training normal. I felt great. And I was like, I'm just going to go up a weight class. Like I'm still training phenomenal. But I wanted the ability to pull out at any moment. Like if I got there and I didn't feel good, I was literally going to be like, I hurt my knee. I've had plenty of injuries over the year. I could easily it wasn't an issue. But about 2 weeks before they announced that they were testing, and I was like, no, because then if I pull out, I can't pull out last minute because people are going to think I'm using steroids, which I never have in my entire career. So I was like, so I'm done. Like I'm not competing. And I was like, because I want the ability to feel like I can pull out at any point without anything happening. Because I could have been fine competing, but I didn't want to be boxed in a corner. And so nobody at the gym knew. It was literally me, my husband, one of my friends knew that trained. That was it. And I remember we went and we told Kishino, and Kishino was like, oh, I noticed you've been like moving a little bit different. But in his mind, I was like, had just gotten the pregnancy test. And he's like, okay, so we're going to adjust the training and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I was like, no, Kishino, you don't understand. I'm almost 18 weeks pregnant. I don't need you to change the training. I'm good. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, I'm almost halfway. I'm good. I just wanted to tell you because I'm about to announce it on Instagram because I'm pulling out. And I don't want you to find out on Instagram. So I'm telling you because I'm about to post it because I'm not competing, and I'm giving the reason why I'm not competing. Like we had already gone taking pictures, like we'd done everything to have it ready. Because I was like, if we're gonna post it, I'm gonna have a whole announcement why I'm not competing, everything like that. But he was literally thinking that I had like just found out. I was like, no. I've been training the whole time. He's like, you've been training? No. We're gonna adjust the training, and I was like, no, stop. If something needs to change, I'll say it. But I'm good. But then I had one person after that was like, I knew you were pregnant. I was like, no, you didn't. We were literally just talking about me competing. Don't try and act smart now. But everybody does that. When you announce something, they're like, I knew it. No, you didn't. Don't even.
It's really interesting, the fact that you, I don't know, I guess felt like everybody knew beforehand, because it's so intrinsic. You must have known your body so well, and it often feels like when there are changes on the inside that it's so obvious on the outside.
Hmm.
And I guess we're quite grateful that it's not that. But it does sound like, you know, Danilo was there supporting you along the way, knowing and kind of having your back throughout
Hmm.
the whole process as well, which is great.
He did. He was nervous at some points, but
Yeah,
but he's like,
yeah,
you've said this, you're a professional athlete, you know how your body is. But like, even if he was nervous, it was always voiced at home. It was never
yes,
something that
yeah,
was like a public thing, which was good. I remember we kept almost telling one of our training partners. So like every single day we would almost tell him, because he kept doing flying triangles on me. And luckily I'm short enough that
yeah,
and he's a bigger guy, so I would just pop out the back door. So he was
yeah,
never even coming close to, wasn't even coming close to landing on my chest because I'm so small I would slip out. And I remember literally every single day, but we knew as soon as we told him he wouldn't train with me, fair,
yeah.
but because he's just not comfortable, but also if he wouldn't train with me, everybody else would know. So we
Uh,
literally multiple times we were like, hey, we have something to tell you, and then last minute I would be like, shut up, I'm okay, I'm good. Like for weeks it kept happening. And then once we announced, he's like,
yeah,
that's what you were going to tell me every time, wasn't it? And we're like, yeah. But then we kept chickening out
yeah,
because
yeah,
then you wouldn't train with me. And he's like, that's fair. That's
yeah,
probably smart then.
yeah,
And it had nothing to do with the fact that he thought
yeah,
I shouldn't be training, but he's
yeah,
a much more explosive guy,
yeah,
and he was nervous about it, which fair.
yeah.
But I was like, you don't need to worry about it. It's okay.
No, it was so good. I love the fact that you said you went off to the loo 30 times. Any of us that are mothers that do compete, often that's our kind of nervous time. And we do often go to the loo a number of times before we compete. So it's completely normal.
That's I was trying to tell. I'm like, it's everybody just thinks it's nervous peace, right? It's just it looks like nervous peace. It's not anything else. But
Yeah,
it didn't help that we're like they would put two groups basically in one room.
yeah,
If it was like a whole room, I don't think it would have been as noticeable.
yeah.
But I know people were like, "What is going on? Don't worry about it. I'm nervous. Leave me alone."
Oh, I love it. Thank you again for sharing that journey, because you know, so many of us that are mothers and that have gone through the pregnancy process maybe more than once know it kind of can relate, and equally being supportive partners, husbands, whatever, will know the signs. Let's talk about your recovery process and how different your body feels now.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's something I get asked all the time. Is like, okay, so when did you feel like 100% back? And even now, like I wouldn't say that my goal is to even get back to where I was before because my body's just different. But I also think your body just changes throughout the years
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
But it's hard to be like, oh, at this point I was like 100% because okay, my stomach, my belly button looks normal, but if you look at it now versus where it was pre-baby, it isn't the same. It doesn't
yeah,
look weird. It looks like a belly button, but it's a different belly button now.
yeah,
And same thing, like my squeeze is not the same that it was. I still have a very, very strong squeeze, but I used to do the whole stack, and now I have like half a stack for reps, which is
yeah,
still a lot, but it's just different.
yeah. It's certainly pregnancy does completely change.
Mhm.
And before we started recording, I was training at a gym, and I think a couple of coaches have kind of noticed maybe a lack of mobility from my hip area, and that's something I've got to work on. But equally for you, knowing that things just are in a different place now.
Yeah, it's just different. I am curious how long it'll take for like the squeeze to get back how it was, but that relaxing and just your body
Yeah,
moving for the babies
yeah.
changes stuff.
Yes, it does. It's so good though. But thank you for sharing all of the aspects of your journey. But before you go, I do want to touch on how beautiful you are looking
Thank you.
with your makeup profile today, because I've noticed some new content, a little bit on Instagram, but mostly on TikTok. Talk to us
Mhm.
about this.
Yeah, so I don't think a lot of people know, but I was even as like a teenager, I was the crazy on like the beauty guru side of YouTube. Like that was my thing. That's the only thing I watched, looking back, I don't think you would expect that. Like I was always in the gym. I had like sides of my head shaved, the whole thing, hair was short, everything like that. But I've always been super into that. And on Instagram, I kind of already have like a style that I post. It's much more like being an athlete and then a little bit of like family and that type of stuff, but it's definitely more athlete geared. And I've been wanting to kind of like post a little bit more of the other side of like stuff that I enjoy, like the skincare and the hair care and the makeup and just more like lifestyle type vlogging that necessarily doesn't even have anything to do with jujitsu. And so I have my little TikTok that I've kind of started posting over there that I can kind of just post whatever I want.
Yeah.
And most of it ends up being actually filmed like right here at my vanity. Most of the time when I'm like getting ready doing makeup or testing out new makeup that I bought. And it's just super fun to kind of have like a different outlet
Yeah.
to go and do stuff and post stuff and have that.
I think it's really important when we have so many identities over the years, and becoming a mother or a parent is one of them. For you, an
Hmm.
athlete, but actually, we've got to continue to explore those things that we do enjoy, whether it's beauty, whether it's any of those other aspects. And there's always a channel to start to kind of share content and for
Hmm.
people to connect with you on that level. And I think um, you know, I think it's great. I've got a daughter, and beauty and skincare is already her number one thing. So and jujitsu. So watch this space.
Yeah. I also like I stand by the fact of like even within jujitsu, like look good, feel good, do good. And
Yeah,
whatever that means for you, like that doesn't mean you have to be super into makeup or something like that, especially not really wearing makeup to training.
yeah,
But whatever that means for you, I'm a strong believer in anything, not just in jujitsu, but like day to day life. When you feel like you look good, you feel a little bit better, and then you
yeah,
just do better in whatever it is.
yeah. Absolutely. And I remember being at the British Open. I used to have long hair. I wasn't able to braid it as beautifully as you are, Elizabeth.
I
So
have to
it
pay for
went.
mine.
um so now I have a V-Hawk, so it's kind of, it's gone. However, I do have a number of products, but for me, having that style and just feeling like, okay, I'm admitting something here. My son is getting very tall, and it's the only way I can keep the height now.
The hair just has to keep going up.
But I think I've got to that limit now. I cannot make it go any higher. But but very much around, feeling good, gives you that kind of presence and persona that
Mhm.
we need, certainly, as mothers and parents and on the jiu-jitsu mats. Is there any advice that you have, additional advice, for anyone, as a mother, a parent, or a wannabe jujitsu athlete?
Man, being having expectations, being hard on yourself can be a good thing in anything, being a parent, being an athlete, and even hobbyist, being on the mat. But you also have to give yourself grace. Like you're gonna have bad days. Sometimes it's gonna get hard. That doesn't mean that you don't keep trying. You should keep trying, but don't be so hard on yourself to the point that it's detrimental.
Yeah, I think, your story around, just keep trying, keep coming back, and actually, regardless of the win or not, you're going to keep doing it anyway.
Hmm.
So it sounds like just keep doing what you're enjoying.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. Elisabeth, this has been my jiu-jitsu lifelong dream to be able to talk to you on the podcast. Having seen just how gracious you are throughout the whole of your jiu-jitsu journey, being a mother, being, approaching all of those big competitions, and how respectful you are in the jiu-jitsu community. I think as a personality, you completely stand out for me in being the epitome of how some of us should, might want to choose to behave, which
Thank
I
you.
think is good. I am going to go and look forward to seeing more of your content on TikTok. But if people aren't already following you, Elisabeth, on Instagram, how can they follow your jiu-jitsu journey?
Yeah, so you're gonna follow me. It's Elisabeth Clay BJJ. It's Elizabeth with an S, not a Z, and that's the same thing on Instagram and on TikTok. So depending on what kind of content you want.
Amazing. We want all of the content. And even as a high level athlete and a high content production person, Elisabeth, we're still looking to monetize and get sponsorships.
Yeah,
The algorithms will pay off in time.
just gotta keep going, right?
We've absolutely got to keep going. Thank you so much. I really appreciate chatting with you, and hopefully catch you at some point in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It's a lot of fun.
You are very welcome. Well, that was a dream come true. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Catch you again on the next episode of the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast. That was a short one that time.